we want to be very intentional and very deliberate and very accessible to you as we walk this road together with you towards your students' post-secondary opportunities and planning. We hope that tonight serves as a great springboard for that process. You are going to be inundated tonight with information. Our counselors have worked really hard to put an introduction together for you. We're going to cover three very different areas. This is being recorded as well, so please don't feel like you have to take notes. You'll be able to access this online really any time after tonight. And more importantly, please don't hesitate to reach out in person to anyone here at SPASH with any questions, and we will work to help. Before we get going, I'd like to introduce our Student Services team that are here tonight to meet and work with you. If you would, please stand up. We've got Jen Greenwood, she's our counseling leader. Gina Jordan, counselor. Barb Wetzel, counselor. Nick Nugent, counselor. Lara Nugent, counselor. And coming in from Pom and Dance practice is Ashley Hewick, school counselor as well. Let's give them a round of applause. They're going to be working with your students. So again, if you don't know who your student's counselor is, please stop up. We'll talk you through that, and we are here to serve you. At this time, I'm going to introduce Jen Greenwood, who's going to get us going tonight.
Hello, thank you for coming. This is a great turnout. I'm glad to see all of you here. We are going to get rolling here, and again, make sure you know that the slides will be accessed. There's some hyperlinks on there, so you can access the slides at any time, as well as the videotape presentation. So we'll get that up and rolling, hopefully by tomorrow. We'll post it on our SPASH webpage, okay? So our goals for this evening is to basically understand our college admissions process as it relates to the public universities, private universities, as well as our tech colleges, and identify some resources and support for you, and we will have time at the end for some questions and answers. We introduced our SPASH counseling office, but we do have two other people here that I want to introduce. If you guys just want to stand up, they work in the Career Center with Miss Brigida Altman-Austin. This is Mrs. Vu, and this is Mrs. Nemeth, and they work in the Career Center, and they help us out a great deal. They're like our second hand for us. And so your students will be seeing them hopefully quite often. We do have three guest speakers today. I'm going to announce them right now, and they'll just get right into their spiel for you this evening. We have Maya Mua, outreach specialist representing the UW System Schools. We have Leah Stower, the director of outreach from Wisconsin Private Colleges. And then we have Morgan Simon from our Mid-State Technical College. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Maya Mua.
Hi everyone. Oh, sorry, I did not expect that to be so loud. How's everyone doing today? Good. Well, thank you so much for having me today. My name is Maya, and I'm an outreach specialist with the UW Help team. I am here on behalf of the University of Wisconsin System. And so today we'll talk a little bit about what the University of Wisconsin System is, what it is that our system is able to offer you and your students, and then we'll also talk a little bit about how to prepare for going to a UW when the time comes. So I'll go ahead and get started. So the University of Wisconsin System is comprised of 26 total different campuses. So hopefully you can see there on the map behind me all of our campuses located throughout the state of Wisconsin. You'll see on the map that we do have red markers. So those red markers are our 4-year campuses, and then the blue markers are our 2-year campuses. So we do, like I said, have 26 total campuses with 13 4-year campuses and 13 2-year campuses. A little bit of, to provide you with a little bit of context as well, so all of our 2-year campuses are connected to a corresponding 4-year campus. So I'm not sure if you can see behind me, you probably can't see the lines, but for example, UW-Stevens Point here is our main campus, and then UW-Stevens Point at Marshfield and UW-Stevens Point at Wausau are considered our 2-year campus. So an easy trick is the longer the name, the more likely it is that it's a 2-year campus, whereas our 4-year campuses are generally just UW and then the name afterwards. So those are our those are our 26 UW system campuses. So what is the difference between a 2-year and a 4-year campus? So our 2-year campuses typically serve as a starting point for many students. Many students will choose to go to our 2-year campuses, generally for a lot of different reasons, but some of those reasons might include, like I said, a starting point for many students. So if you're not 100% sure yet what major or program you want to pursue, but you still want that college education, you want to get your feet wet a little bit with a college experience, the 2-year option, or the 2-year campus is a great option. You're able to take a lot of general courses, work towards either that 2-year degree, or eventually transfer out to a 4-year campus to earn that 4-year bachelor's degree. Our 2-year campuses are typically less expensive. They're generally smaller in size as well. So typically the campus itself is really small, and then the class sizes are generally pretty small as well. So giving the student, a little bit more one-on-one time with their professor, like I said, easing themselves into what that college experience might be, and just taking it one step at a time. So for students who, like I said, are not 100% sure with what major they want to pursue, but want to take those general courses, our 2 years are a great option. Our 4-year campuses are typically where students go to receive that quintessential college experience. So what does that mean? Students get to live in the residence halls. They get to take classes, eat all their meals on campus, really immerse themselves into that college experience, whether that's sports or clubs or programs, things like that. We have a variety of majors and program offerings at all of our 4-year universities. They do all offer a 4-year bachelor's degree, and some of them do also offer graduate level degrees as well. So if you're thinking about going for a master's or a PhD, many of our 4-year campuses do offer that as well. Our 4-year campuses, like I mentioned, they do offer lots of different majors and programs. So for example, UW Stevens Point, I know is very well known for the Natural Resources program. If you go to the west side of the state, UW Stout is really big on game design and development, so if you're interested in that, UW Stout is a great school for that. And if you go south a little bit, UW Milwaukee has a great architectural program as well as a lot of other programs and majors available at our 4-year campuses. So a variety of options for students who are interested in pursuing whatever it might be that you're interested in as far as a program or a major goes. Our 4-year campuses are typically a little bit more selective as well in terms of admission. So while all of our campuses want to be accessible to all students who want a college education, our 4-year campuses do take a closer look at students, their academics, anything in their, our campuses do look at our campuses. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me rewind. So all of our 4-year campuses are a little bit more selective when it comes to admission. So this means that they're looking at students' grades, the kinds of classes that they're taking. I'll talk about this in the next slide as well, but our campuses do want to make sure that students who are coming to our 4-year campuses are prepared for the work that it will take in order to stay at their campuses for those 4 years to earn that bachelor's degree. So when I talk about selection or admission, I want to also mention that we do have a credit requirement for the University of Wisconsin system. So if you look on the screen behind me, these are the minimum credit requirements in order to gain admission to our UW system. So you'll see that all of our UW campuses do require a minimum of 4 credits of English, 3 credits of math, 3 credits of natural science, 3 credits of social science, and 4 electives. So again, these are just the minimum. Of course, students are welcome to exceed these minimums. We do encourage students to exceed these minimums to best prepare you for college. I do also want to note that UW-Madison is the only UW campus that requires at least 2 credits of a foreign language or a world language. So I mentioned earlier that our University of Wisconsin systems are a little selective as well when it comes to admission. So not only do our campuses look at those credit requirements, they do also look at your academics, so whether that be your GPA, your grades, the types of classes you're taking, or the course selection that you're taking in high school, so whether that be taking classes are a little bit more challenging for you throughout the course of your high school career, making sure that you aren't doubling up on study halls if you have the opportunity to take more classes so that you are more readily prepared for college. So that's kind of the academic side of things. But our campuses are also committed to what's called a holistic review process. So what this means is that our campuses look at you or look at the student as a whole individual. So not only will they look at your grades and those academics, but they do also want to know who you are as a person. Who are you outside of class or outside of the school? So what types of activities are you involved in? Are you working a part-time job in high school? How is that impacting you? How are your passions and interests being shown in the things that you're doing outside of school, whether that's in clubs or sports, community service, volunteering, things like that. Our application for the UW system does also allow for the essay. So the essay is a great opportunity for students to talk a little bit about their goals, their plans for the future, talk a little bit about any challenges or hurdles that you faced throughout your high school career and how you've overcome them and how you're ready to be a college student when you step foot on our campuses. So the essay is a great opportunity to talk a little bit more about yourself as well, just because we know that our application is very, very focused on some of those academics. And so, like I said, our campuses want to get to know you a little bit more, so that essay is a great opportunity to talk about that. Our campuses will also consider the information that they get through letters of recommendation. So letters of recommendation are not required for all of our UW system campuses. The only campus that requires a letter of recommendation is UW-Madison. So Madison is the only campus currently that requires a letter of recommendation. However, all of our campuses will accept a letter of recommendation if you are able to get that letter. All of our campuses will read that letter of recommendation in addition to your admission, again, to find out more information about you as a person in order to make that admission decision. So I've talked a little bit about what our UW systems have to offer and how our campuses are reviewing admission, that sort of thing. But we also highly encourage all of you, so students in the crowd today, that even though you are bombarded with lots of options tonight, so even in this UW system, there's 26 different campuses to choose from, and you'll hear more today about what your other options could be too once you graduate high school. But at the end of the day, we always encourage students that you find your fit. Make sure that whatever you choose for yourself once you graduate high school is fitting for you. So that applies to the UW system as well. So we have lots of campuses to choose from, and so think about why you want to go to college. Why do you want to come to the UW? Think about, do our campuses have what you want out of them? So making sure that they have the programs or the majors that you're interested in, making sure that they have clubs or sports that you want to be involved in. Even thinking about things like location, how far away do you want to be from home, or how close do you want to be from home. Those are all really important things to think about as you consider college once you graduate high school. A way to prepare for the UW, some of the things that you can start doing now to prepare is looking into summer opportunities. So whether that be summer residential pre-college programs, I know that UW Stevens Point does offer, I believe, a residential program on their campus, where essentially you would spend a week or two on campus taking summer classes, kind of getting the feel for what it's like to be a college student while still in high school. Many of our UW campuses offer something similar to that as well, so definitely take a look to see what each of our campuses have to offer. We also encourage you to explore your career interests in addition to what majors and programs might be available at our campuses. We want to make sure that if you come to our UW campuses that you are working towards something that you're interested in pursuing, so making sure that all of our campuses have, like I said, what it is that you want out of it when you come to our campuses. And finally, of course, ask questions. Like I said, I'm here from the University of Wisconsin system and UW Help, and my entire goal, my entire job is to help you navigate to the UW system. So whether that be questions about admission or questions about how to apply or how to fill out the application, that's what I do. So I help students to navigate through the UW system. So if you have any questions at all, certainly feel free to reach out to my team with the UW Help office. So we do provide a couple of resources for students who are interested in the UW. So here I'll kind of just briefly run through them. We do first and foremost offer the UW Help website. So the website here, we mainly created it for students and families who are, like I said, interested in the UW system. And so this is kind of a hub of information for students to find all general UW related information. So whether that be general admission information, general timelines for admission. We do also provide general financial aid information there as well. And whatever information that we have on our website, we do reference to all of our independent UW campuses as well. So we do have, like I said, 26 campuses, and we do try to get all of that information into one place for all of you to help more easily navigate through that. So you'll see the link behind me, uwhelp.wisconsin.edu. Feel free to take a look at the information on that website. We do offer what's called a UW Journey app. So this is a mobile and web app created, again, specifically for students who are interested in the UW system. So this app, the goal of this app is to help you find your fit in the system. So I'll keep repeating this. We do have 26 campuses. It's a lot of campuses to have to choose from just in this system. And so this app is created for you so that you can compare side by side. What does this campus have versus what this campus has? Whether that's activities or clubs that are available at that campus, or programs and majors that are available on those campuses. So if you do have time, I do encourage you to download the UW Journey app, play around with it, see how your interests and your likes line up with what our UW campuses have to offer. And then lastly, we do provide student workbooks as well. So these are all available digitally. And it's kind of a condensed version of our UW Help website. So providing, again, information about the UW system, admission-related information, timelines, deadlines, things like that. So these are just a few of the resources that our office is able to offer. So if at any time you have any questions or want to find more information about the UW system, certainly feel free to reference those links, those websites, or contact me at UW Help. And finally, I'll kind of end my speech today with saying that, yes, the University of Wisconsin system is just one of lots of different options for you to pursue once you graduate high school. And we do hope that one day you do consider the UW as a place for you when you graduate high school. But before that, I just always encourage students to explore your options, research those options, making sure that the UW that you choose is the right fit for you. So that's something that we always stress, is making sure that you are able to get the experience that you want out of college. So take the time to explore, research each of our campuses, see what's being offered. And there's nothing quite like visiting a campus or stepping foot on a campus. So definitely take some time to visit our UW campuses, whether that's in person or virtually. We do have great options at all of our UWs. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for again having me today. My contact information is behind me if you do want to reach out. Again, thank you. I appreciate the time. If you have any questions at all about the UW system, or any questions about the application process or the admission process once it's time, certainly feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm very excited to be here. This is one of my first times in Stevens Point. I really love the name of this high school. I feel like just yelling SPASH. It gives you a lot of school spirit. I'm Leah Stoyer. In case you forgot, I am the Director of Outreach at Wisconsin's private colleges. That is me. So today I'm here to talk to you about the benefits of attending one of Wisconsin's private nonprofit colleges and universities. I myself am a really proud grad of a private nonprofit college. I really believe that the close-knit community, the one-on-one attention that I was getting from the faculty, the ability that my family and I had to pay for that education, and the strong alumni network really got me off on a great foot, so I'm really passionate about talking about this option and encouraging students to think about if it could be right for you. So in Wisconsin, there are 23 private nonprofit colleges and universities with over 53,000 students overall. We have about 58% of students coming from within the state of Wisconsin. So we're really focusing on continuing to promote these schools to students like you, so you can kind of think about either staying close to home or going far, but continuing to stay in the state and kind of get all the benefits of a Wisconsin education. Our private colleges here, they're spread throughout the state, as you can see. So you have your urban, suburban, and rural options, so really anything that you can think of that might sound fun to you. I really want you to kind of think about where you picture yourself throughout this presentation. Do you picture yourself in a really small town or a really big city? One of our largest colleges, Marquette, has 11,000 students, and then we have colleges that are quite small, like Bellin, Nursing and Health Sciences College with 700 students. So there's like a really large gamut that they run. And really, 11,000 is the largest. Mostly they're averaging, maybe around 3,000 is the median. And the smaller size really allows you to get that personal touch at a private nonprofit institution throughout, planning your schedule with your college advisor, somebody that knows you, someone that you're going to get to know really well. Taking your classes, you can kind of expect that approach. So all classes are taught, by professors with a terminal degree in their field, so they're able to give you the best of their expertise. Very rare to have a TA, which can be really valuable for a lot of learning styles. Our institutions have about 470 academic programs overall. They are all direct admit, average class size, about 16 students, which might even be smaller than some of your high school classes. So there's a really big emphasis on sort of learning by doing at these colleges, really interactive work, less textbook style learning, lecture halls, and a lot of hands-on learning. As well, you want to think about academics, but also, your social, cultural life at college. Private nonprofit colleges have a really sort of enriching experience outside the classroom because they are so close-knit. We have clubs, organizations for every interest across the board. I've seen everything common from sports, dance, mathematics, to meditation and Quidditch. This is true. You can play Quidditch at college if you want to. And there are a lot of ways to sort of meet other students and feel more at home on these campuses that emphasize students, feeling like family. We also really pride ourselves at the private colleges on, belonging and access. So about 28% of all students identify as Black, Indigenous, and or people of color. 28% are first-generation college students. 30% are non-traditional, so they might be coming from a gap year, coming from the military, etc. And 30% qualify as low-income overall. So I mentioned those figures because I really want to help counter that narrative with like the private school label that these places are very accessible for people from all walks of life. The opposite, we want to kind of counter the narrative that underrepresented or marginalized learners, don't make it to these communities, because the opposite is actually true. We have great representation from all of these groups, and these institutions, really kind of support the needs of students who are coming from a variety of life experiences. So just kind of emphasizing the sense of belonging at these colleges as well. We graduate about 14,000 students a year. And those 14,000 students, they carry about 23% of all bachelor's degrees in Wisconsin. They also carry about 35% of all advanced degrees in the state of Wisconsin. So if you're interested in maybe graduate school someday, or thinking about pre-med or pre-law education, our schools tend to be a really great pipeline to those in-demand degrees and careers. We definitely graduate a lot of students in the most growing in-demand career fields, so health sciences, business, etc. We award over half of four-year nursing degrees in the state, which is a really popular major at the moment, and over a third of the graduate degrees. The graduation rate very high. It is about 49%, so 49% higher for Wisconsin private college students than their peers at other institutions. So it means that graduates are kind of moving on quickly to it's a career or their graduate program. They have a high rate of retention and are kind of moving on to their next step, which is really important to us. We also, I'll echo what Maya said about really thinking about like what's the right fit for you. So we have these agreements across the private colleges with the tech schools as well. So we have what is the exact right term? It is the course-to-course agreement. So it's a transfer opportunity where you kind of do your first 2 years at a Wisconsin tech and then finish up your 4-year degree at any one of these private schools. We also offer a lot of dual enrollment opportunities with the early college career program. The early college credit program. So this is an opportunity to take college level courses in high school and then apply those credits to your college education. And you can definitely talk to your high school guidance counselor about options that SPASH has to do that. Each of the private colleges has a great career and internship center. So they kind of exist to really mentor students from their classes, figuring out your interests, all the way up to resume writing, mock interviews, and finding your first jobs. So you'll get really great support when it comes to getting ready to graduate, thinking about what you want to do in the world. We also host something called the annual workforce fair every year in Milwaukee, where we're bringing employers from across the state and beyond state lines to kind of talk to all graduates or soon-to-be graduates of the private colleges. So we all get to kind of come together and people can network with future employers as well. I definitely want to kind of talk to you about affording our education, very big issue on everyone's mind. So on a national basis, just overall across all the private independent colleges in our nation, 90% of those graduates were employed or in graduate school within 6 months of graduation. That figure is from 2019 to 2020. And this is a really good return on your investment. You want to make sure that what you're paying into college means that you're going to finish and be able to pay off any loans that exist. So we have a great rate for that. The affordability of the actual institutions tends to be very welcoming to a lot of families. We really do have a phenomenal job at putting together really good financial aid packages for students. About 96% of all private college students receive some form of aid, which kind of figures into that idea of bringing in people from all kinds of financial, economic, social backgrounds to learn together. 77% of the average financial aid package is going to be comprised of federal or state grants and loans that do not have to be paid back, which really translates into a high affordability rate for the student. So this basically means that the average aid award is about $22,000 a year for the first-year student at a Wisconsin private college, coming from grants like the Pell Grant, Work Study, Veterans, Children of Veterans, and the Wisconsin Grant, which is our primary state-funded source of aid for students. So please fill out your FAFSA and get your money. I'm also including the federal student loans here. So they are subsidized, but they have to be paid back by the student. Everything else does not have to be paid back. So generally, what we kind of like to share is that the average out-of-pocket cost for tuition for a first-year student averages just over $4,200. So this is the average. Could fall below, could go above, but we are definitely proud to share that the average out-of-pocket tuition has consistently stayed at $6,000 or below at these private colleges for the last decade. We also have a lot of questions that come up, people asking about scholarships, because these are all private nonprofit institutions. They have their own scholarships to offer. If you picked up one of our guides, we have this page all the way at the back here that tell you who to talk to at any of these colleges. They can tell you what scholarships they offer that you as a student might apply for, or your child might, qualify for. So any specific questions that you have, those departments can answer right away for you. I really like our guide. Students tend to find it really helpful in their college search, so we have those in the back if you haven't picked one up yet. The guide includes profiles on all of these campuses and the majors and minors. So whether you're looking for something general like business, you're looking for something like psychology, you can see which colleges offer it as a major, which might offer it as an emphasis. Everything all the way down to marine sciences or game design are all included in that list of majors that you can find where your interests are. You can also kind of look up where your GPA stacks up to admitted students classically in the last few years. I also will share with you that all of our institutions are ACT and SAT optional for the next application cycle. So good to know as well. In your college search, you can also check out wisconsinsprivatecolleges.org. You can do that exact same majors and minors search. You can kind of write in what you're looking for and find it in our system, what schools have it. Look up for that scholarship information. We have all of the campus visit opportunities listed there as well. So when you're ready to take a tour or talk to someone in admissions, you can find that there. I think I've run out of the student and parent checklist for college tours, but we have helpful lists of questions to ask when you're on a college tour, when you're really overwhelmed by all the information that you're getting. Just good to keep your brain on track and ask, what's the quality of life for these students? How's the meal plan? Just like things that you may not think of that really impact a student's quality of life. We also have college snapshots, so information from each of the colleges, a short video, so you can sort of experience them a little bit more firsthand, and information on test prep as well. Wisconsin Private Colleges also hosts a statewide open house. So at the same time, all of our private colleges are hosting tours, sort of special get-togethers. They might have themed events where you can come and talk to faculty or current students. So this is happening next year, 2023, from July 10th to 15th. And it's just a really good opportunity to sort of center your college visit travel around these institutions, plan a little bit of a road trip to visit the ones that you could be interested in. Like I said, at colleges, it's a very, personal and specific decision, but I really encourage you to ask questions and try to visualize yourself at a college to figure out if it's the right fit for you. So please feel free to contact us, aka me, at studentaccess@waku.org. If you forget that, just going to wisconsinsprivatecolleges.org and contacting will achieve the same result. We also include resources on that website for students with disabilities, veterans, etc. So if there's any resources that you want to know more about or that you're trying to find, we really encourage you to reach out to us. So happy to provide any help that this does, and I'm really excited to be able to be here to talk to you about your college search, so wishing you all the best of luck. Thanks.
All right, good evening, everyone. Yeah, I know it's been a long day. This is a lot of information, but my name is Morgan Simon. I go by Mo. A lot of your students know who I am. I have the opportunity to work with SPASH as one of my high schools in the Mid-State District, and I've been working with SPASH for about 3 years now, so I'll be going on my 3rd year. I also have the opportunity to have regular office hours in the Career Center, which will begin next week, so I will be here on Thursdays. Students can contact the Career Center staff, counselors, teachers, and pre-schedule appointments with me or stop in. And what I always tell all the students is, obviously I'm a Mid-State representative, so I'm happy to talk about Mid-State programming, but I'm here for pro plans. So whatever your students' plans may be after they leave the doors of SPASH, whether that be a technical college other than Mid-State, a university, a private college, apprenticeship, maybe it's the workforce, military, and they're not really sure what steps to take next or how to leverage the opportunities they have at SPASH moving forward, that's where I come in. I get to work with a lot of them. I've gotten to know a lot of students over the years, and it's really cool to see them go on to be successful. I actually just was in the auto lab yesterday, and Andy, one of the students here from SPASH, was there working on some vehicles. He was a youth apprenticeship student here and had a bunch of scholarships, which I'll talk about. So his first year and a half is all actually paid for due to scholarships and things, and he's in our auto program. So I'm going to here as a mid-state rep, I'm also here as a Wisconsin Technical College rep. So I'm going to talk about technical colleges, I'll talk a little bit about mid-state. So there are 16 technical colleges in the state of Wisconsin. This map shows the districts. So you see we kind of have our different areas, kind of like schools have districts. So I get to work with Wood, Adams, and Portage County, and then our neighboring schools work with the other counties. We also play nice. We have students interested in our college from another district. That just helps us determine what high schools we get to spend time in. We also have over 500 programs and growing between the technical colleges. We have a lot of different options that ranges from a certificate, it could be like a 1 semester, technical diploma would be like a 1 semester, or an associate's degree program, which would be 2 years. You'll see up there, 91% of technical college grads are employed 6 months after graduation, which is huge. And on the bottom, it talks about the fact that we have over 300,000 students enrolled annually. The Mid-State District alone, I believe we kind of teeter between 7,000 and 8,000 students, probably because we have a lot of different modes of class or different options for students, so there's not just one way for them to pursue their education. I talked a little bit about our district. So Mid-State specifically, we have 4 campuses. We have a Wisconsin Rapids campus, a Stevens Point campus, Marshfield, and Adams. We also will be adding the Meta Center here in Stevens Point, which is the Advanced Manufacturing, Engineering, Technology, and Apprenticeship. It's a long acronym, which is why we had to have an acronym for the facility. We are breaking ground on that this fall, and hopes, as long as supplies go well, that we will be able to open that facility next fall. That facility will have some of our manufacturing programs that we offer in Wisconsin Rapids. They will duplicate here in Stevens Point. Some will move to Stevens Point, and then we will add some additional programs and have a dedicated apprenticeship center that is in response to the need of the employer partners and the workforce that we work with in this area, making sure we're meeting students and employers where they're at for their training. Dive a little bit backwards into degree options and then mid-state specifically, but these options are at other technical colleges as well. I know we had a lot of hands for juniors in this room, so seniors, hopefully you've already heard me talk about these opportunities and you've taken full advantage of it. I know a lot of you had to hear my dual credit presentation multiple times last week, but I'm skipping down to the bottom where we talk about dual credit and start college now. So those are 2 opportunities, and a few other presenters mentioned that, and we all want to have the students get those credits as soon as possible. So with dual credit, your students have the opportunity to take classes here at SPASH, and they are getting the exact same course that is offered at Mid-State. And they get that because you have awesome teachers at SPASH that have the credentialing to offer the college course within the walls of the high school, and it is absolutely free to your students. So the average cost of a 3-credit class at Mid-State is around $500. So every time your students are taking a dual credit course, they are saving themselves time, but they're also saving themselves a lot of money, and there's a lot of dual credit offerings here. Some big myths is students will be like, well, I'm not going to Mid-State or a tech college, so I'm not going to take this Mid-State course. It is not a Mid-State course. Their transcripts are going to say Mid-State Technical Colleges, but as we've talked about transferability here, those courses are college credits that are transferable to all different schools, whether that be a private college, university, or another technical college. And it will save them a lot of time. I have some students that walk out with this program and then start college now, and they'll have a whole semester of a degree done, which is huge. So if your students have questions about dual credit, have them talk to me, especially right now. I was in classes registering students, and a big thing about that is if they don't register for the dual credit at the time they're in the course, I cannot retroactively go back and give them credit. Even if they come to me and say, Mo, you were in my class, I got an A, I need this for my degree, I'm not going to be able to do anything after the fact. So if your students are in this room and they're in a dual credit class this semester, they don't think they registered, please have them connect with me so I can make sure that they get their free credit. But it's a great way to earn college credit. Another option is start college now. So as a junior and a senior, students can apply with the school district to take college credits at Mid-State. They have to have exhausted maybe all their courses within a certain discipline area or a certain elective where they're looking for another option, or maybe the course isn't offered at SPASH. That's a good opportunity to pursue that, or credentialing. Students use that to get their CNA, so their nursing assistant program completed and that certification, or EMT, emergency medical technician, so your students can actually earn a college credential for free while they're in high school, and those transfer into other degrees that we offer. Technical college-wise, we are very responsive to industry need. So all of our programs that you see, some programs may go away or change names. Well, we work with experts that are called advisory boards and committees in the different industries of programs we offer. They're constantly looking at our courses and our curriculum to make sure that we are training our students to go out in the workforce and be prepared to be successful and enter into those different career cluster areas that we offer programs in. Also, our instructor credentialing is a little different. Not saying this couldn't happen at a university level. All of our instructors have degrees or educational backgrounds in the field that they teach, but they also have to have industry experience. And you can see that when you come visit those classrooms, a lot of them either have, or some of them are maybe even still in industry, and they're very, very passionate about what they're teaching. If you have a student that's interested in the program area, I can have them come shadow a class, and that time really helps them, and they can do that at any of the technical colleges. Getting to speak with that instructor or those students sometimes can really help them see what that environment's going to be like after they leave the classroom. We have very small classes, so 12 to 18. Some classes are a little larger or less, like in our health sciences programs. Some of those tend to be a little bit smaller based on just wanting that student to instructor ratio to be good. And then we have flexible formats and very interesting hands-on industry expert training. So flexible formats, we have hybrid, we have in-person, we have telepresence, part-time, full-time. In regards to specialized training, and we talked about nursing here, so nursing and health sciences are an extremely popular career field. Our health sciences students have the opportunity to utilize a simulation center at Aspirus Hospital where they have an inpatient and outpatient wing. So our nursing students, our phlebotomy, our surge tech, our central service, our medical assistant students, and also our paramedic students can go into this sim center and work with high fidelity mannequins that will simulate what they would do with a patient so they can practice that prior to going on to like a clinical site. And that's a very unique opportunity for them. The mannequins are great, they scare me. They just scare the crap out of me because they can breathe, you can put IVs and do lines and secrete fluids. We have females that give birth, but they're a really good way for the students to be able to simulate stuff, and that's just one example of the interesting technology that we have that students get to use. If you have students interested in healthcare, let me know because we can tour that facility. All right, obviously any further education comes with a cost. So, over half of the students that go to a Wisconsin Technical College will graduate debt-free. Up there, that figure, that $8,000 to a little over $8,000, that's the cost of a 2-year associate's degree at a technical college. While a 2-year at a university would be a little over $30,000. So, there's a cost difference there. In regards to, there's not necessarily like one better than the other, and the private colleges university rep talked about, it's really about the best fit, and there's a lot more ways to go about it now. Everyone plays nicer together. The 2-year options in the university setting are a really good option for students to get started. We also offer a 2-year associate's degree in the arts or sciences, and through that partnership, students can complete their 2 years of general education courses, and then they can go on to a university as a junior, and all their general degree requirements are going to come in, so all those gen eds. Gives those students an opportunity to get those out of the way first. There's about a $20,000 savings with that, which matches up with those numbers by doing so. Maybe they just want to dip their toes in the water, like they both said, and move forward with their education, not ready for a university, or maybe they're not sure where they want to go or what they want to do. They want to explore the UW system or the private college system and figure out what their best fit is for their completion of that bachelor's degree. That's where those options are a really great fit. I went to a 2-year before I transferred on and completed my degree as well, and it made a big difference for me. Sponsor a Scholar is something that is kind of unique to the technical college system. It's where employers will come to us and they say that, hey, I'm looking for someone in this career field, and they'll give us that option, and then students would see, okay, let's say Mitotech in Mesita is looking for a machinist, so they say we'll sponsor someone in the precision machining program. So the students will come to us, they apply to the program, then they interview with the employer. If the employer were to pick that student, they will cover their education. They will also hire them on as a paid intern while they're going to school. The only caveat is the student has to work for them for about 2 or 3 years upon graduation, or they pay that employer back for their education. But if they follow through with all of that, they will have been paid and getting paid training basically while they are going to school, and they will come out completely debt-free. It's a really good option for students. The scholarship windows, your students are going to be completely inundated with a ton of scholarship opportunities very soon, and so that's where you've got to stop in that career center. We have 3 scholarship windows. We have a high school scholarship window and 2 new and continuing windows that students can access right coming in after their senior year. And the high school scholarship window opens in December, right around the corner. There's also the Wisconsin Technical Excellence Scholarship, which is a great opportunity. I know there was some SPASH recipients here last year. Our foundation as a whole gives away over $250,000 in scholarships. And as anyone probably has maybe heard, if they've heard anyone talk about student scholarships, a lot of them go unclaimed simply because students do not apply. So we encourage them to apply often and apply for as many as they can. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Once again, I'm Morgan, Mo, Simon, and I get to spend time here. So if you're students, there's a lot of great reps that have the opportunity to come and visit on occasion. Let's say they really forgot to ask a question to the UWSP rep and they're not sure how to get a hold of her. Well, they can reach out to me. I'm happy to connect them. Same with the private colleges. But just encourage them to ask questions, whether it be me, their counselors, or the career staff. There's a lot of great resources here to help them with their plans. So thank you for your time. I'll be in back if you have any questions afterwards.
So my name is Brigitte Altman-Austin. I'm one of the assistant principals here who oversees the Career Center at SPASH, and also a lot of the post-secondary planning information. So one of the things we have also for students is military. So if students are interested in the military, we have military recruiters here pretty much every other week in all the different branches. So if you are interested in going into the military, we do administer the ASVAB test coming up in December. If you have any questions about the ASVAB or military recruiters or when they're going to be here, Mr. Nugent right here, our school counselor, is the contact person for the military. So if you are interested in that at all, please reach out to him in the counseling office. Okay, so some resources. How many of you in here students have been to the Career Center? Raise your hand. All right. So before you leave SPASH, everybody should have walked through the SPASH Career Center. We have resources up there for all of you, no matter if you're going to a 2-year, 4-year apprenticeship, military, scholarships, whatever you need, we are here to help you. And I'm super passionate about that because I graduated from SPASH in the 90s and it did not exist. I didn't know what I wanted to do. All I knew is all my friends were going to the university, so I guess that's where I gotta go to. It ended up being a really good thing for me, but I want to make sure that you are aware of all of your options after high school. Everyone's path looks different, and there is no right or wrong path. It's whatever's right for you and what you want to do after high school. And I want to make sure that you are aware of all those different paths and opportunities, and that's why we're doing all of this for you. So in the Career Center, we can help you with resumes, mock interviews. If you want to go on a job shadow, we have lots of job shadows. We have career conversations. Our first one is coming up with a nurse practitioner within the next month. So if you want to sit down and you want to talk to a nurse practitioner and you want to ask questions, if you're thinking about going into the medical field, we're going to bring that person into the Career Center for you to talk to live to ask questions. And all that information will be on the announcements. It'll be in your advisory slides. We want to make sure that you get that information. College tours. Some of you can't get to a college campus because you don't have time. Your parents are busy and you're afraid to go there by yourself. Hey, we're going to set up some college tours this year. We're going to take you to some of the UW campuses, free of charge. So if you want to come with us on the bus with Mrs. Bew and Mrs. Nemeth, we're going to take you to some of those campuses. So make sure you listen for that information. It's all provided for you because we want to make sure that you, again, make the best choice for you and the rest of your post-secondary planning. There's also some information here. Obviously, we have college admission reps here all the time. We had 3 here yesterday in the Career Center. So please make sure you listen for that information. It's always on your advisory slides. It's always in the announcements. You come up to the Career Center and you can just sit, talk, ask questions in regards to whatever you want answered from that college rep. So again, gather that information from them. There's also a link here for the college planning guide. That's electronic if you want to take a look at that. Mrs. Jordan created that college planning guide for all of you. Also, another service that we provide is seniors. You've got some college applications if you're going to start filling those out. We want to help you with that. So Wednesdays in the Career Center, during your lunch, we have Workshop Wednesdays. You can come in, sit down if you have questions, and Mrs. Jordan is going to kind of touch on that just a little bit in regards to it can be kind of confusing, you know, to kind of go through all of that and how to navigate that system. So we've got that. We're also going to have Fast for Fridays starting in October 7th. Mrs. Jordan is going to talk about the financial aid after this. She's kind of our resident financial aid expert. We have a room that you can sit with her in the back in private and kind of go through that application process, because again, that can be very confusing to parents and to students as well. So again, please utilize our services that we have here for you. Again, we've got Facebook and Instagram for parents. We don't have a Snapchat or anything like that. But please follow us for information. We post things all the time. We have job postings. We've got just all different events. We post them on Instagram and Facebook. So just make sure that you follow us if you want to stay up to date on that information. And I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Jordan.
Welcome. I am Gina Jordan, school counselor, and we do offer quite a bit of FAFSA support, so I just want to run through some of that. One of the best places you can reach out for your financial aid information is the financial aid office of the colleges you're applying to, so sometimes we overlook that, but that's a good thing. Also, Mid-State Technical College is offering a FAFSA fill-in event on October 13th from 4 to 6. I was a little mixed up about the time, but yes, 4 to 6. College Bowl, Wisconsin is another event you can do at UW Stevens Point. That is on October 11th at 6 p.m. And so both of those events, you can actually take your information and they will help you step by step to fill that out. Also, I linked, and we'll have these slides posted on our counseling website, but I linked the Wisconsin Higher Education AIDS Board. That's the Wisconsin organization that grants financial aid. So there's a lot of good information. Another thing that I linked was the Reciprocity Agreement for the students that if you live in Wisconsin, you can attend a Minnesota state or public university for the same cost as a Wisconsin resident. But you need to actually fill out an application. Some people think that actually just happens, and it does not. So if you click on that link, it gives you information on how to complete that reciprocity agreement. Application portals. When students are applying to colleges, it's all online now, and so there are several different portals to use, and that can get a bit confusing. If a student is applying to all UW schools, I strongly encourage you to use the UW System portal. It is the easiest portal, as opposed to some other things that we'll get to later. So if it's all UW schools, I would say simply go to the UW System portal, create an account, and use that to apply. There is another application portal called the Common Application Portal, and this is an application portal that you can use. There are over 900 colleges across the country on that portal. And there are some UW system schools in that portal as well. There are 7 that are in the Common Application. However, again, I just encourage you, if you're doing all UW, to use their portal. However, if you are applying to, say, Marquette, UW-Madison, and Carroll, well, all of those schools are on the Common Application, so you might want to use the Common Application. And if you have questions about that, I just wanted to make you aware, but you can certainly reach out to your counselor or the Career Center, and they can help you. Then, to make it even more confusing, the colleges usually have their own portal. So if you want to apply to Viterbo University or something like that, you can go to their website and they have a portal. So you really have to see what, it depends on the number of colleges you're applying to and where they're located and what they're, where they're at. So you can go to the admissions site for each college. For official transcripts, here at SPASH, we use Zello for our students to request their transcripts. That's a platform that we have on our homepage of our website. There's a little green Zello icon, and students can click on that and log in with their Google credentials. And then it's a very simple process to go in and request their transcript. It's free when they use Zello. That's why we switched to Zello several years ago. Again, we can help them with it, but I have linked instructions on how to do that. We also offer a lot of this information in the advisory Classes that we have on Wednesdays, every Wednesday your student is in an advisory class and we go through a lot of this information. So tell them to listen up. Yeah, so if a student is using Common App, the transcript request comes to the school counselor through the Common App. So those would not need to be requested in that way. It just comes straight from the Common App. Okay, I'll turn it over to Ms. Wetzel.
Hi everyone, thanks for sticking with us tonight. I promise we're almost at the end. I've just got a couple more things to talk about. So scholarships, we've heard a lot about that for the different universities. They all have their own as well, but there are a lot of scholarships out there. The biggest thing with scholarships is you can't be awarded any scholarships if you don't apply for them. So you want to make sure that you're taking the time looking to see which ones you're eligible for and then working on those applications. There are local and national ones. So the Community Foundation scholarships are great. Those are our local community foundation. They have a whole bunch of those together. There's an online portal that students can go into and they take a quiz and see which ones you're eligible for. They give you that whole list, as well as we have some in the counseling office and the career center. They can work on filling those out. Those open on December 1st, and the deadline for those is February 15th. Most scholarships, you're going to have to write an essay and look for letters of recommendation. So I highly recommend not waiting until February 14th to start working on those applications. And then in December, the Career Center, they shift from having those college application workshops to having scholarship workshops. So you can go and get some assistance if you want to have someone read over your essays. Make sure, help you look for different scholarships, see which ones you're eligible for. They're a great resource, as well as your counselors in the counseling office. Some dates to remember that are coming up throughout the school year. Next Wednesday, we are going to have some senior breakout sessions for our senior students throughout the day. They had some information in their advisory slides about what that schedule looks like today. We'll have four-year universities, technical college, and then apprenticeship, as well as workforce. And I believe we'll have the military there as well, that students will be able to attend those sessions and get some more information. Junior conferences are going to be starting up with your student's counselor. Those we typically kick off in October once we get through homecoming, and then we work on wrapping those up by springtime. Then thinking about things as you're moving along, Ms. Austin talked about those college visits, getting in those job shadows, starting to get some of those questions answered about what you want to do after high school. And then juniors, you will be taking the ACT. That date is March 7th. That day we have the sophomores attend some campus visits. They go to UWSP as well as Midstate. And then the juniors will be here and seniors have an e-learning day that day. And then the last day to put on your calendars, every year in the spring we host a college and career fair. We have that in our field house. We invite a whole bunch of four-year schools, two-year schools. We have a military there, a bunch of employers. So it's an event for everyone to come to. So mark that on your calendars. It'll be in the evening. And we'll have all of our students be able to go down right toward the end of the day to walk around. All right. And then the last thing, our reps mentioned this as well, our UW schools, as well as many schools right now, are test optional. So what does that mean? So all students are taking the ACT, but as you're working on your application, you don't have to send your test scores to a four-year school as part of your application. It may be something you want to consider. Many four-year schools, if you're applying for merit-based scholarships, different things like that, then they may want to see your ACT score in addition to your GPA. So that's some research that you're going to want to do to see if that is a requirement for these schools for those scholarships. Again, scholarships are great because that is money you don't have to pay back. All right. That leads us to the end. Thank you all again for attending. We've got, we're right about at 6:30, but if there are any questions, we are happy to answer those. Our reps will be here for a little bit after this, and we have until 7 o'clock when our financial aid night begins.
Feel free, if you did not have an opportunity to pick up some stuff in the materials in the back, feel free to stop by, pick those up. The reps are still going to be here. We are here to help. Again, if you have questions, come on down and speak to us. We're going to be here for at least until 7 to the financial aid. If you're here for the financial aid part, you're welcome to stay and just get comfortable, and we'll get rolling at 7 for that.